right, hello, fellow magicians. So, in this episode, I'm going to tell you about the question that I made 15 years ago that actually changed my life and led me here to the Ecuadorian Amazon. Life is a battle, and spirituality is the toolkit you need to survive it. Through my own personal experience, I will show you how to live spirituality on a daily basis. This is also the journal of the Aberamentho Sustainable Community, an experiment on human evolution, seeking to create a different type of human society based on sacred principles. Hi, fellow magicians. So today I'm going to tell you the story of how I woke up and what was that process like, and how that led me here to the Amazon jungle where I am right now. So 15 years ago, I made myself a question of, I went into this quest of trying to find out why the world was in the mess that it is. And I thought that that could be answered by going back in history. So I went back to World War II, and I realized that that wasn't the answer. Then I went back to World War I, and that wasn't the answer either. And so that led me back to ancient civilizations, the Egyptians, Sumerians, Incas, Mayas, and whatnot. And throughout this research, or this quest for finding out why the world is in this mess, I realized two main things. It doesn't matter on what period of history you are or you're researching, you always will find that the social structure is a pyramid, meaning that there's always been people at the top calling the shots and telling the rest of us what to do and what to think and how the system is going to be run. And all the systems, because they work in this pyramid structure, all these systems have only been there to promote the interests of these people that are at the apex of the pyramid. So that was the first finding. And then the second finding is that when you go down history, you eventually run into secret societies. And when you do that, you also run into the occult and the occult knowledge. And when that happened, I started also learning about the occult. So I learned about Kabbalah and tarot, astrology, astrotheology, sacred geometry, etc., you name it. So I could have continued going down that path of researching one point in history after the other one, but the only thing that I was doing is becoming bitter and disappointed with the system that we've created. And then I made a second question. If I already kind of understand why society is in the mess that it is, and I think that the major reason is pretty much because we're in this pyramid structure, what would be the answer to that? How can we get out of this? I realized that armed revolutions were not the answer because throughout time they've been corrupted by the same people that actually run the system, because these revolutions need funding. And you're just replacing one tyrant with the next one. And so I didn't want to go down that path. And also because when you do this, when you try to amend the system, what you're trying to do is just, you're asking your prisoner to give you more chain space if you want. If your chain is going to give you more leisure, but it's not going to let you loose from the chain where you are. And so that's why that wasn't the answer. In going out and vote, or creating a political party, or getting into politics or anything like that, it wasn't the answer. For me, the answer was the system needs to be broken in its core. And the core is this pyramid structure that we have, where people at the top sequester all the power, all the resources, all the knowledge and everything that is available and that should be shared with the rest of human beings. And so because of that, I decided that what I wanted was to live in a different type of system, a system that is more circular, that is more holistic, that is actually there to promote human potential and not to suppress it and to do quite the opposite. And also a system that is actually circular, where you cannot accumulate power, you cannot have hierarchies. You only have people being the best that they can be and actually potentiating their creativity, potentiating their humanness. And by doing so, they are also contributing to the community where they live. And so that's why I want this channel to be two things. Because I realized that, this process that I've been on for 15 years is kind of like, in a way, the same process that humanity is undergoing right now. A lot of people are waking up and realizing that the system is actually doing quite the opposite of what it says it should be doing, right? So justice is there doing quite the opposite. Same with health institutions and banks and whatnot. So a lot of humans have awakened and are in this process of discovering and realizing that the system is actually a lie, a house of cards, if you will. And so that's why I created this channel, because I think that we need to go a step further from actually finding out, that there's one lie after the other, and that a lot of the things that we've been told are not or don't function the way that they're supposed to function, and they're not there to do what they're supposed to do. Then what? Are we gonna get just stuck in that and then going into this quest of just going into one conspiracy to the next one and to the next one? So that's my path, and I think that that's going to be the path of a lot of you. So that's why I created this channel, and I want this channel to be two things. I think that the next step after you discover that the system is not there to do what it's supposed to be doing, the next step is to realize that there's not going to be any savior out there. And a disclosure here, I am not a religious person, I'm a spiritual person. I do think that Jesus and Buddha and all these avatars are really important and relevant to to finding answers. But I don't endorse any religion, because I just think that they are another system of control. I'm going to talk about Jesus sometimes because of, my cultural upbringing. Obviously, I have more knowledge about him than any other avatar, but I'm not going to use him in the sense that a religious system would do. So having said that, I think that the next step once you wake up is to start seeking answers. And I think that one of the answers is in spirituality. As I said in the intro of this channel, spirituality is actually the toolkit you need to survive this process, this experiment that we call life. And you have to actually be able to implement that. It's not enough to learn it, you have to be able to apply it. In the movie Peaceful Warrior, there's a phrase that, knowledge is simply information. Applying that knowledge is actually wisdom. And I highly recommend that movie, by the way. So in this channel, what I want to do is I want to talk about applied spirituality, and also I want to talk about what I think the answer is to the mess that we are in right now. I'm currently in the process of creating the Aberamentho sustainable community, and I'm going to leave the link to the website down below in the comments so that you can go and check it out. And this community is actually based on spiritual principles, because I think that that should be the basis of any society. But it's also a circular system. I don't want this society to have hierarchies, or just because I'm the founder of the community that I have privileges or anything like that. I want everyone to be part of the community, to have the same saying and the same amount of power and the same amount of leverage in the community. So yeah, I mean, so to summarize, this channel is about two things. The first one is going to be applied spirituality, and the second one is going to be the journey of the Aberamentho community that I'm creating here in the Ecuadorian Amazon. Because I think that could be the answer to the question that I made of, once we discover that the system is not doing what it's supposed to be doing, what's the next step? And I think that the next step is actually creating this type of communities. And by the way, also a disclosure. I don't think that I have all the answers. I don't think that I'm an avatar or a guru or anything like that. I just want to share my experience with you guys because I think that is going to be valuable, and actually because I'm looking for members to the community. So if what I'm saying resonates with you, please feel free to reach out and to get in touch with me, because I'm actually looking for people that want to live in a type of community similar to the one that I want to build. So I'm going to tell you the story of the Aberamentho sustainable community. At some points, I'm going to talk about practical things. And at other points, I'm going to tell you about how, through learning about spirituality and the occult, how I've actually applied this information and this knowledge. And give you tips also to how you can apply it on a daily basis. And a third disclosure here, this is a channel for white magicians. And I'll explain a little bit what a white magician is in a later chapter. But it's pretty much for people that are in the service to others path. Throughout this channel also, I'm going to bring out a few references that I think are highly relevant and highly valuable. One of those is the books of the Law of One. You can easily find it if you do a search on the website. And these books are really, really important, and they changed my life when I read them. And in this book, Ra, which is the channel, the entity, if you will, mentions that there's two roads in the universe. One is service to self, which is the ego path. Is very selfish, is very egocentric, of course, narcissistic and whatnot. And then the other one is the service to others. So this channel is for the service to others. And the magic and the spirituality that I'm going to be sharing with you is for white magicians, so that we can become white magicians and actually explore our potential as creators. And with that, I'm going to close this chapter here, and I'm also going to request that if you want me to go deeper into any of the topics that I touch here, please leave a comment, and I'll try to address those inquiries as good as I can. And also because I want this to be a dialogue between you guys and myself. I want this to be a learning process. And yeah, so feel free to request any topic down below in the comments. And yeah, I look forward to having this dialogue with you guys. So thank you for being here, and I'll see you on the next chapter.